It was always very well looked after. The other jockeys were always complimentary about it. A very fast 5 furlongs. The Lewes horses, well, from my point of view, seem to pull much harder there than it was home to them. And once you turned to go down towards a mile and a half, they seemed to get a second wind, and in fact one of them took off with me. But yeah, I found it very, although I wasn't that successful. Yeah, we're not.
Sir, I think I catch your name.
Yes, Bryan Leyman.
Bryan, you also rode there?
Yeah, I'd ridden winners there as an apprentice, and I rode in the last race.
The last race?
The actual last race.
Well, I saw you ride then. My dad snuck me in there. September the 14th, 1964 was the last day.
That's correct.
Which was my birthday, and my birthday treat was Dad sneaking me in.
I also rode that day.
I think probably the half of Lewes was up there that day, illegally.
It was a very busy day, and to have taken part in the last day's racing was just a fantastic thing. I actually thought I might ride the winner, but when I hit the filly was what was known as a short runner. She never quite got 5 furlongs. And with the way the shape of the racecourse, she got an absolute flyer at the start, and I thought I'd get a few lengths on them at the start. But when I got to the furlong marker, she was just starting to fade, and Bobby just came by me and beat me 2 lengths. But
it's inevitable. Any ideas, I mean, as a novice to horse racing, why the racecourse shut, either of you?
Well, it was, the facilities were 19th century. Nothing, there was never any running water, there was never any electricity. The toilets were buckets with lids on. It was just, it got so out of date that race courses were going through a very hard time in the 60s. Several of them shut, not only Lewes, Manchester, Birmingham, I can name several. And so there was cutbacks everywhere, similar to the railways really.
Sure. Mr. Beacon taught horse racing as well.
Yes.
There's no facilities up there, running water and telephones.
There is now, is there?
There is now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But in days gone by, on the last day, for instance, I mean, the bookies must have had a nightmare up there, to lay off their bets to the bigger bookies.
Well, there would have been no mobile phones in them days.
There wasn't even a telephone box.
No, there wasn't. No. So no, I don't know how they got. I know our valets used to complain because they couldn't wash the kit. Yeah. There was no electricity, no water, anything like that. But nobody ever I never heard anyone complain.
No, I think people just in those days got on and didn't.
You all got on and you accepted it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
it,
Yes.
So, do you have fond memories of that?
Oh, Christ, yeah. I mean, I saw Lewes Racecourse every day for 9 years while I was apprentice. Okay. While I was apprentice and after I came out of my apprenticeship, I saw that racecourse every day, and because we were exercising the horses by it, so I saw it go from a racecourse to a stable yard, really. Yeah. Private house.
What struck me during race days at Lewes, because I lived with my parents on the last day, obviously I was only 14. Yeah. And the race days in Lewes, there was hundreds, if not thousands of people coming into town. Yeah. Yes. And the cars and buses and anything would slowly move along the road, nose to tail, all the way. Yeah. Then there'd be a lull around about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then they'd come back, going to the railway station or wherever else. Did they stable the horses there overnight, or did they go back to their individual?
Go on, Brian.
Sorry. My trainer, we were based in Epsom, and we used to bring them up and stay in Tom Gates' old yard, down in the town there, and we used to have to lead up to the racecourse there, past the prison, and you get the prisoners shouting out, "Will you win, son?" We used to say, "You can't have a bet anyway," you know, but they can now probably. But no, it was quite a long lead up because it was like that.
It was a mile.
It was a long lead up, wasn't it? And if you had one that was a little bit frisky, it was quite an ordeal.
Well, I can remember racehorses being exercised or taken to be exercised up on the gallows.
Yeah.
You know, come past my parents' house, there used to be a whole chain of them go up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know that was.
And the horses, some of them seem to get a different idea. I can remember Jeff Lewes one day winning a race. You were meant to get back to weigh in time. He ended up pulling up by the prison. It took off. It took off for a mile with him. One of Cyril Mitchell's.
And the horse wanted to win several races.
He went straight back towards the town.
Yeah.
And he had a hell of a job pulling it up, and then had to canter it all the way back to weigh in time.
Yes.
So it was. Once you passed the winning post, it was open spaces.
Yes, it is, all the way down to the town.
Right down to the prison. And that was a nightmare. And say one took off with me in the other direction one day, and I hit the barrier at the end.
Well, let's go on to talk about the public houses of Lewes, because I've been told, I'm too young to go into pubs, that the particular pubs were akin to particular stables.
Yeah, the windmill, the windmill in particular, and all at that end, you know.
Sure,
yes, that's quite true. What was called the Rifleman, and then it changed to the Pewter Pot. Oh, the Black Horse was another one. Yes, all the stable lads used to get in there. There was a lot of Irish work in there, so you can imagine there was often fights.
A lively evening entertainment.
And Lewes Town Hall on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you remember them, don't you?
Yeah. So, gentlemen, would you had a magic wand in your hand? Would you reopen that course, or was it just a stretch too far?
I personally would, because I felt that, it was outdated. If it been prepared to put some money into it, that racecourse would have lived on, because it brought so much revenue into the town.
It was.
You know, like you were saying, the crowds of people that came, they were spending money, and it was revenue into the town, and that's just been allowed to go, which is a great shame.
Another factor, I was in lodgings down Lamport Estate, and my old landlady, I mean, she was a pensioner then, and she always looked forward to going up to the racecourse, to have a shilling each way. But then the betting shops opened, and she never went again. She used to put a shilling each way at the betting shop.
Sure.
Never went back.
Yeah.
And I don't think the betting shops, that helped, because you didn't have to go to the racecourse to have a bet.
Watch it on television.
Watch it on television. Well, Lewes was never televised, but not to my knowledge.
No.
But no, you just didn't have to go to the races to have a bet from it. And it's the same as now. You can watch every racecourse in the country in the bookmakers without even moving out the town.
Speaking of television, Barry's got two wonderful films. I don't know if you've seen them yet. One, the Leonard White film, as it's called, and one that someone's done a commentary over. Both beautiful films. You know, if you haven't seen them, you can go and have a look. You might see me as a little lad there.
Yeah, we were both there on the last day, and so we had our yard won the last race, and got back to the yard, and Bob Elliott and Nick Masson, Tom Masson's son, went in the house, and they said, "Do you know what we've just done?" Tom Masson said, I mean, he didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary. He said, "We've just had the last winner at Lewes ever."
Yeah.
Of course, then about 6 bottles of champagne came out to the yard, so nothing got done that evening.
Not that you jockeys have always had it.
No, we wouldn't have done that, no.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.